In this video, we're going to start talking about creating your mind map to begin going through your ideas and really filtering out what direction you want to head with this themes project. So by now you should have at least one or two essential questions picked out that you're wanting to head towards. And a great way to get started going through these ideas is creating something called a mind map. Here's an example of what a mind map looks like. So it's just taking the ideas and different things that are in your mind and mapping them out to somewhat make sense and begin to organize your ideas. So in the middle here, you're going to start with writing down how or what your essential question is. So this one here that I'm basing this project off of is how can the four elements personify my conflicting emotions? So the four elements are air, water, earth, and fire. And I started and I just kind of wrote those out. But you're basically, with all of these different things that are coming out of the center, you're basically answering your question or coming up with different answers to the question. It's completely up to you, whichever way makes the most sense to go about mind mapping your ideas. But what I did here in this example is took the four elements and began to think about different symbols that could represent each of them. So for example, underwater, I wrote calm, tears. So those are just different emotions or different ways that I can use water, that element, to represent emotions. And then off of calm, I wrote some different ideas for symbols that can represent that specific emotion that I feel water could represent. So for example, under calm, I wrote river, dove, water droplets on a flower. So just anything that comes to your mind that somewhat represents that specific idea that you're starting with. So here's another example off of the element air. I wrote some different ideas of what air could begin to represent. So pushing away. I have swirls of water getting bigger. You can maybe do some different sketches in different areas of your mind map if that helps to get your ideas out. So maybe to represent air, I'm going to have swirls of wind kind of coming in and starting to take over the section of my artwork that I might have flames or fire. Also under air, I put tornado, since tornado and different types of weather could represent air. And then I'm thinking of additional symbols. So what type of colors kind of go with this element? So I put down blue and white because those are more peaceful colors. However, under the section that I put violent, because air can also be violent, such as tornado. For violent, it might be different colors, like maybe a darker green or a red color. So think about colors, value change, kind of jot down anything that comes to your mind with this mind map. So organize it whatever way makes the most sense for you. But again, you're basically just thinking of different ways to answer whatever essential question you chose. And then branching off of some of those answers, you're starting to think about some different symbols that can represent each of those sections or each of those things that you have branched off. And then think about colors to represent those symbols, and so on. So whatever is going to make the most sense for you is the direction that you'll want to head. Try to do some different sketches. You could throw some color in there, but just try to get everything in your head out onto your paper, onto your mind map.